Hey friends and family, hey loved ones. Hey everyone. Happy summer solstice 2023 and midsummer's eve. Super powerful energies. Oh my goodness. There's so much that I want to say. I've gotten so many downloads in the last couple weeks. And everything's just kind of like percolating, and it's not like totally clear yet, but there's so much more clarity than there was. And had to go through like so much shit to actually uncover like some of this truth like that I've always known, and just like let it be totally clear to me. And it's one thing to see it and to know it and everything, but to actually like really accept it and being, just be willing to embody it and take it to heart and take it in for myself. And yeah, just my own mind and my own body and my own practices and my own ways of living and being, and honoring this life for myself. And it's just like, just so trippy and mind-blowing and just whoa, like almost overload in certain ways, but like ready for it, like just to immerse myself into it and to apply it, practice it, like just a balance of like these masculine and feminine energies within. And so some of those things that have helped me lately, they haven't been comfortable, they haven't been pretty, they haven't been desirable, they haven't been what I wanted, they haven't felt good. And so, but like I'm just feeling so humbled now, and so like, wow, like, just looking at some of the things like first world problems, and but like something that we can all relate to, with how we felt about ourselves, or how we've been taught to feel and to see and to think about ourselves, and just like all this background noise and this constant self-doubt and this like saboteur like voice on our shoulder, like that programming that constantly digs at us and tells us that we're not enough, all those things, like for whatever reason, just to block us from ourselves and our own power and our own beauty, and to make us hyper obsessed and focused on how other people might see us and how to keep ourselves safe. And it's just like a bunch of mindfuck shit, and like just some of the AI, artificial shit that just keeps us from our true selves, our authenticity, our organic like expression and growth, and who we are, like, and willing to take, like, and listen to ourselves, by not like going against ourselves and sacrificing ourselves for like some small payoffs, like for that status or that false image that makes us look good or virtuous in like our tribe's eyes or whatnot. Like, because like, yeah, we've had a lot of energy invested into those things so that we wouldn't be exiled or burned or lynched or, and all those things, scapegoated and just torn apart. Like, there's all these things we did to protect ourselves or to make ourselves look better. Like, there's so many complexes, it's insane. And, these last couple years, me needing to go within to just to look at like some of this psychological shit. How was it that so many good people could be manipulated into certain things, like when they were put into fear, and how they could be talked into scapegoating like one group because they were just made to be like the boogeyman of the boogeyman, when really it could have been any of us, like because of the ways that it's done and it's orchestrated, and the ways that like that divide and conquer programming works so well, because it just takes the worst of the worst that we haven't accepted about ourselves and projects it onto the so-called enemy or the other. And, like, we all have our own shit where we're insecure with ourselves, like, from the most minute thing to like, larger things, and things that we don't really have control of, but, like, we have to control the perception, or we're taught to, of other people who are going to see us, so that we build this, like, false image and layers of, like, some kind of ego, and we have to identify with certain things, and it's so fucked up, like, and complex, like, when it comes down to it, like, all these tangled webs that we weave inside of ourselves, and then when they unravel, or, like, it's really uncomfortable, like, and sometimes we just deny, and we resist, and, like, you know, there's with the cognitive dissonance, and I just, like, prolonging the agony. We don't want to see certain things, you know, about ourselves, and it's hard, like, this whole, like, letting go and surrendering, and, like, of all these things that we have built up to protect ourselves, and, or, like, really, but that's like the Rumi quote: your job is not to seek for love, but it is to find and dissolve all those barriers that you have built in yourself against it. And that, like, that's really what it is. Like, I've seen a lot, like, the last couple weeks, and I had to go into some really dark, deep places for a little while, just for my own self, like, so I could satisfy some stuff. And it was, like, almost really hard to get out of too, like, after knowing I had to go into that, because it was, like, there was, like, some kind of payoffs to it too, like, but doing my best to be the observer and to detach and to, like, kind of see the responses or the reactions with my emotional pain body and some of these things, like, where I haven't gone into social media, or, like, to the extent, or to some of the ideologies that are being pushed out there. Like, there was something that I had to go see, like, some of these things, and I got lost in certain rabbit holes about, you know, like, the trans agenda, and you know, just, like, Marxism and mind control, and how they've been able to convince people that, like, something good, like, they've been able to exploit, like, our own kindness, our own empathy, our own compassion, our own anger, our own, yeah, like, the trauma that we've been through, that we feel, and we feel for other people. They've been able to use that to fuel, like, certain agendas, so that we misdirect our own anger and our own power, and we think we're doing something good, or we're gonna vindicate, or we're gonna get revenge, or we're gonna, yeah, somehow make it better by, like, making, you know, blaming it, or turning it on someone else, or taking someone else down, or tearing someone else down, or, yeah, eradicating something, or cutting something off, getting rid of something. Yeah, dismembering. It's, like, more fracturing, and, you know, exile. And it's really ironic too that it's, like, this group that, like, is, like, inclusivity and tolerance, that actually, like, they're the brown shirts for this new ideology, like, that's been recycled. But it's just, like, there's a new monster, and yeah, and it's just, like, total victim consciousness, and you got to keep reinforcing that victim consciousness and everything. So it is, like, it's a contagion in a lot of ways, and it is built on, like, a need for safety and security, which, of course, like, everything's been destabilized, everything around us. So, of course, we're going to be grasping onto something. We're going to feel, like, justified when something, yeah, feels like it's been so wrong, and we're going to latch onto that, and someone's going to tell us, oh, this is how we end. Like, the ends don't justify the means. Like, no matter how much we want to tell ourselves, like, yeah, who are we really hurting, though? Like, for reals. And it looks like a bunch of silly caricatures, really. Like, it's a lot of mockery too. Like, a lot of people they have like legitimate trauma and reasons to be speaking out and stuff, but they're being used as like little talking heads and tools and weaponized mouthpieces to push like certain agendas that actually don't like help anyone, and don't, like, they may make us feel good, like, but they just take so much, and so, yeah, that's all I can say, like, without being like more specific, but like, oh yeah, with some of the stuff I've seen, and it just like helps me to go within too, because a lot of me wants to like call it out, like, in a lot of ways, like the flawed logic and the emotional retardation of it, and yeah, it's a lot of it's really sad too, but like I can see how it hooks people into it and like riles people up with that mob mentality and that hive mind, and yeah, just thinking about like the torches and pitchforks and things, like how, oh, this is who we're gonna go after this week, and this is like the villain that deserves it, and just because they're ready to hate somebody, they have to keep reinforcing like their rightness and their story and everything, but like they don't know that they're the ones that are destroying themselves and destroying like a lot of things, like and allies, like potential allies that they did have, because they're forcing like too much shit onto other people that would normally like be fine with whatever, but it's like now you're calling me like the tainted one, or the one with the scarlet letter, and like that's not how you help people. That's not how you empower people. You don't put the scarlet letter on someone else in the group to empower your own self. Like, we free everyone, Like, we don't tear down someone so that we can raise ourselves up. We raise up each other, and we raise up ourselves too. We don't exclude ourselves out of the picture, and we don't have to blame anyone. Like, yeah, there's people that fuck shit up and like challenge us so that we actually can see where we need to set boundaries and all of that, and where we need to stand up and reclaim our power in certain areas, and where we've been choosing certain dynamics, and where we've been playing into things, or where we haven't stood up for ourselves, or where we kind of slipped up, or where we have like a distorted image of ourselves, and we think that other people need to like validate us or go along with some kind of a thing that we, that we don't think we have, like, or that we don't think we are, but we're already like, it doesn't matter if anybody else like sees us. It's so limited, like, especially like the online virtual, like, yeah, the false self shit show out there is just like really kind of crazy too. It's such a caricature show. It's so like a fun house of mirrors and all of that. I don't even know what to say about like the sickness of like some of the far left cult like ideologies like that are being pushed, and I know why they're being pushed too. It's like so that it just disintegrates like all the values of society, and nobody knows who the fuck they are, and they think it's all about them, and it's like to create these new super narcissists that demand like that everyone coddle them, and that they're special because of this category that they've been taught to put themselves in and give themselves like 38 to like 68 labels, and while they're introducing themselves, and it's just like, fucking, like, really get over your fucking self, please. And it's just sad, like this degeneration in consciousness, and it's just, what the fuck do you do with that? But just how far like certain things have gone. How much we've been taught to hate ourselves and then blame everyone else who doesn't like give us that feedback or that love that we need to just like say you're phobic about this and you're phobic about that, but not like really turning it back around and flipping the script within ourselves, expecting everyone else to accommodate like our own insecurities or whatever. Like when we've always been dealing with like certain things where we don't feel enough, or we feel like persecuted, or we feel like outcast within ourselves because of certain things, certain trauma, and the programming that we've endured or taken in or believed or agreed to on some certain levels, or that we've just been inundated with, and it's just been a part of our like narration, or like the part of our story where we're always like trying to make up for something, and then we want to blame somebody else and say that it's someone else's responsibility to fix, but it's not. Like, it really isn't. It's up to us to claim our own power. We don't need any validation from the outside, and that this is just like a good mirror for me, like to know this as well, like where I'm going through like some of my own challenges in my phases of growth and stages of growth here now, where I've been really rocked to the core, like with a lot of things, and like in the last couple of years, and in the last couple of weeks, and the last couple of months, I've experienced a lot of loss and a lot of disruptive things, and I was all about that too as a rebel, to disrupt the status quo and disrupt like things that aren't really working, but sometimes that's not comfortable, for fuck's sake, and sometimes I didn't want it to be comfortable, but and sometimes I didn't want it to be comfortable for others either. I didn't want to make it comfortable, but like in another way, like I was so hyper focused on making other people comfortable as well. And like that's just one thing just to look at here, like with that people pleaser and that friendly person that was just gonna go along, or that nice person, the foolish person. And that's like, it's clearing some shit from my throat. I've had like some chronic throat stuff going on, like where it's really, really sore, and then it goes away, and a couple days later it comes back, and then it goes away, and then a couple days later it comes back, and it's just like weird shit like coming on through the voice, through the throat, and like letting go of all this stuff, like because I had to protect myself. I couldn't say this stuff. People weren't going to want to hear it, or they weren't going to be happy to hear it. And so it's just like, you know what? I have the right to have my opinion, my voice, my love, my truth, God's truth, like the truth, the love that I want to express, or the wisdom, the authenticity, the self-expression that I am here to like express, embody, all of that, and just all those fears and all of the reasons why, like in letting go of the small payoffs that reinforce my reason not to like say something or show up or not show up, and because in certain dynamics, like where I was just like fixed in certain roles because I had to fix certain things and I had to make things better, and it's just like stay out of things, but it's just like it wasn't serving me, and it's not serving the whole, and it's not serving relationships, and it's not serving it's like I don't want to be pushy either, but like how can I just be myself and just share like different things, different contribute in certain ways, and be okay with that, like, and not give a fuck, like, who doesn't like it or who does, you know. So anyways, got my hair changed a couple weeks ago. It's almost been 2 weeks, and I had this like crazy allergic reaction to the hair dye, and I've been bothered so much. Had this chemical burn, like, and all these bumps and hives, like, all throughout my scalp, and all over my neck. My ears have been chemically burned, and they've been weeping, and then, like, creating all this crustiness on the back of them, and it's just like, oh, it's driving me the fuck insane and drive me crazy. But, like, it's just like, oh, that's just one of the things, like, but that's, like, just physically, it's interfered with my sleep, like, I'm so itchy at night, and I'm just like, just with other things, and it's just like, this on top of, like, everything else, I'm just, like, crawling out of my skin, and I just, it's this ugly duckling, uncomfortable stage and phase, and I'm just like, okay, nothing's fucking wrong here. You'll get through this, you know, like, but it's, I mean, like, there's so many other good things, but, like, this is just like, oh my god, it's a mixed bag, like, of all these things piled onto all these other things, and then just like, this is like trickster, jokester, it's a mixed bag, it's everything, it's comfort, it's discomfort, it's love, it's, freaking hate, it's intolerance, it's acceptance, it's everything, like, about everything. And so I'm taking that to heart, like, with my own self and the self-image that I've had, and I feel, so I was sick of going, you know, just like being blonde and kind of feeling like, oh, it makes my skin look washed out, it looks me, I don't know, like, I'm getting older, and it's just like, I think it's not an unusual thing for someone who's been light for a long time to, like, want to experience, okay, let's do the other thing, let's totally go dark again. But it's like, it's kind of a repeat or a familiar thing from my past years, but I totally hated it as soon as I did it. I regretted it. And then I have, like, all this, like, physical stuff and the chemical reactions that I had to it, which has been super uncomfortable, and just, feeling, like, so different, like, from all of these health issues that I've been going through. Like, I'm feeling, like, a lot older, and I've gained weight, and just not feeling, like, as desirable and as, like, as attractive or appealing as a person or as a woman, or in different ways too, like, where I don't want to feel like I have to try so hard either. And there was, like, just so many things that I've gone through, like, in my many years of trying to people please and trying to be, like, attractive and desirable at any cost, and, like, that archetypal horror, you know, like, it's not based, like, on a terrible thing either. It's just gotten distorted in different ways, like, in the ways that I've been taught to see myself, and, like, the sexual misery programming that's been, you know, programmed into us, like, in generations, like, especially since the advent of TV and all of that. But, like, women's beauty and sexuality and femininity has always been hijacked and used and exploited. And I think men and women have suffered because of that. And that doesn't mean that, like, we can't appreciate, like, the beauty and the joy and the love and the expression and the uniqueness of every form and everything like that. But, like, just the ways that it's been used and we've been exploited in certain ways because of certain images of how we need to be in order, to be enough or attractive or to be, you know, valued or worthy, for certain accolades and, safety and all those things. And so, like, yeah, it's been a lot of shedding of things, and just looking into, like, how, like, I actually, like, see other people, and how much beauty I see in everyone, like, and I just haven't allowed myself to, like, see that in my own self, and to allow that, like, without all this extra scrutiny and judgment and nitpicker, because I have this, like, false image in myself of I have to be this in order to be whatever it is, like, enough. And it's just like the goalposts always move too, and I've always looked back on myself, like, years and years, like, when I knew, like, how harsh I was with myself, and I looked back and I was like, oh my god, like, that person is so beautiful, and I don't know why I saw her like that. And I never do that to anybody else, like, you know, besides, like, if it's like a projection of something that I don't like about myself, like, and that's, like, not a personal thing, it's an impersonal and an archetype thing. And so, like, anyone that I see, like, in my life, even when I'm going to the grocery store and there's, like, you know, a cashier there, and I just think they're just so dang cute just because they're them, and they don't have to fit into certain categories, like, at all, and I just see the beauty in them, and I just think, oh, you are just the cutest, you know. And it doesn't even matter, like, what age, what size, what look they have, it's just them, you know. And I just can't do that. I haven't been able to do that for myself, like, I just, like, I can't expect, like, other people's validation and acceptance, like, to tell me that I'm, you know, like, that I'm what they want or whatever, because, like, everybody wants something different. Everybody has their own agendas, and I can't, like, I can't do the chameleon thing anymore. Like, oh, this person, they're comfortable, or they like this, and, oh, like, that's satisfying enough, or that's enough for them, like, and that, you know, like, but, like, really, like, I've been so militant and Nazi with myself, and just, I know it's not all mine either, and it's, like, stuff that I get to let go of, and it's really untrue, and I know it's untrue, but it's, like, still there in the background of, yeah, it's something that has really like kept me from really being authentic and really being myself and really owning my own power. Because the judge is always controlled. Like, that judge, like that perfectionistic judge is always controlled. What I can do and what I can be with how I look or how I appear or how I seem to be. So just kind of letting go of that stuff, like, and I had to get to this point where, like, I'm really vulnerable and not where I want to be, like, to just accept myself. And I thought I could, like, years ago when I felt, like, pretty good about myself and in the place that I wanted to be, and now I'm not, like, and I could, like, you know, so it's just, like, that opportunity, and know that, like, it's gonna change too. Like, I just feel like I'm in this weird space, like, it's like this middle-aged place where, like, yeah, junior high was, like, super awkward and crazy and did not like it at all, and I would have done anything to escape that. And it's just like, that's the same kind of feeling, like, right now. It's the same kind of thing. I know it's, like, not gonna be this way forever, but it's really, like, going through this birth canal and squeezing so many things and having to let it go so I can, like, come through this thing and then grow into where I really am, like, the ugly duckling shit. So I've been told all this other stuff that I'm not supposed to be, but, like, really I've been trying so hard to be something that I'm not, and it just, like, causes more pain because, like, still rejected, you know. If you look into that story, and you'll know, what I'm talking about, like archetypally and emotionally and spiritually. And I think a lot of women could relate, and a lot of human beings could relate to this. Everyone's had their own ugly duckling stage, and like, man, I feel like I've had my share of mine going through some stuff. But there's so much, like, really, with how we've been taught to judge, like, by appearances and stuff. Like, there's so many things we're taught to assume, just by, we're so programmed. We're so, so programmed. And, you know, there's a reason for that. So we're, like, a lot easier to influence and manipulate if, we don't use our own intuition, our own feeling, our own discernments, and we just, like, see things from the surface level, or from our own wounds, or from the lenses we've been taught to use. And so, it's all about discernment and attention, and developing our own wisdom and our own insights and our own self-awareness. So if we can cut through some of the lies that we've told ourselves, we can see through a lot of the lies that are being sold to us in other ways, like right now. And so art and creativity and music and fun and beauty are on my radar right now. Everything's so pretty right now. It's summer solstice, and this June has been so beautiful, like really so comfortable and so cool and so like nice, like lots of rain, and it's been cool temperatures. Everything's growing and just blooming, and it just feels so good right now. And so that's like something to be grateful for. Just, seeing all the beauty all around, and then starting to feel well again, and being able to show up for things, and seeing my little granddaughter, my little sweet pea. Oh, she is growing up so fast into a little toddler, and she is just the most fun and joyful and present and just cutest little Spitfire nugget. Just love her. She's the cutest, and I would do anything for her, and I just feel so grateful, like, to be a part of her life. And like, my jaw drops and I just watch her, like, in her innocence and her beauty, and like her wonder and her exploration of her world. And I'm just like facepalm, really. Like, show me how you see the world, little one. Like, I just wanna just play with you and enjoy this with you, and she teaches me, like, so much, and I just, like, feel like, man, if there was no other reason that I'm alive right now, I'm glad I'm alive. To be her grandma, and to be with her, and to be a part, like, of this world that, makes the world a better place for her, because she's making it a better place, like, for me and for all of us. And so whatever I can do, like, to show up for that, for the love and the innocence and the purity and the beauty and the joy, like, that is our young ones, like, hold them, I think, at the highest regard. And that is my thing right there. Like, divine Shakti and divine Shakti and the divine feminine, like, lioness, like that Kundalini rising, like, to protect the young and the innocent. There's nothing I wouldn't do like to protect a child from being hurt, and there's been so many children hurt. We've all been hurt so much, but like it's so crazy, like at the scale like that it's been happening, you know, like what our society, what our culture has turned into, and like the shadow. Like there's been a lot of good, you know, and a lot of convenience and a lot of things like that like makes life easy, but like there's been like huge shadow things that we haven't wanted to look at, and like things that we go along with that we don't really like and we know aren't like good or true, and like it just contributes to certain things happening that we don't even want to acknowledge at all. And it just like breaks my heart too, like that we don't want to look at it because it makes us feel bad and it makes us feel uncomfortable, and we don't know what to do with it. We don't know how to process it, and that's, I mean, it makes us sick, and like because it goes against our own nature, and we feel helpless. Like, what can we do about it? So like we always want to blame someone else, or we don't ever want to look and see like where like certain things stem from and how we're like still contributing to like certain backwards things that deny that we deny. Like we know like these things are happening, and with child trafficking and abuse, and but it's too painful. We don't want to look at it, and we're we don't think we can do anything about it, and so we just want to reject it outright and close it off, and cognitive dissonance like certain things. But there are like crazy things that have happened like with the programming that there's certain things that are being normalized and encouraged like in certain ways, so that it can be like a gateway for all these other things to pour in and look normal and look justified. Yeah, and it's a fucking sick agenda. Like, sorry if this is autistic and whatnot, but like, just gathering my thoughts about like certain points I want to list and look at and talk about and even write about later, because it's all connected too. Like the way that we've been disempowered and that we've disempowered ourselves, and that we keep perpetuating certain patterns, and just like it's the wheel of suffering. And the wheel spins, and then it's like it's another formula, or it looks different, like there's different characters playing it, but it's actually the same story, and it's the same formula, and it's the same bullshit, but like yet we still get sucked into it in certain ways, because it's like karma that we're playing out again and again until we resolve it within ourselves. And I can see like how certain structures like with certain empires, how they could morph into something else, and people would totally forget the history of how they created that, and then like keep creating it again and again and again. Like, with just like certain psychological patterns that you really like, there's stuff that we don't want to do, but yet because we don't want, and we are railing against them so hard, like we inadvertently create stuff again, like because of the way we've been taught to go against them. But it's just like, even looking at like quantum physics and stuff, like when you push at something, like it's like the pendulum swing too, and it's just like really super interesting to see how so hard it's gone to the left, and then like watching already how it's going to go swing back to the right. And like, even though it's been so super ugly to see how far it's gone to the left, or what's portrayed as the left, how ugly it might be too. And I'm hoping like for some grace in this area when it goes back to the right. Like, because it's just been so sad, like, to see, like, the witch trials, you know, with all that justification and the virtue, like the self-righteousness and, yeah, the fear-mongering, all of that stuff back then, and then, like, how it's been here with this scientism and all of these things. And then just, like, yeah, all of the political shit, all the technocracy, like, the agendas, the just the mind fuckery, like, really, like, nothing we see, like, that presented to us is actually 100% legitimate, like, really nothing. And so yeah, there's some kind of agenda attached to it, and we just, like, can't help it. This is sorry, like, but it's okay. That's where we take what resonates and we leave the rest. We need to use our discernment. We need to trust ourselves. We need to look at, like, our own voices, our own connection to God. We can't have, like, a false medium. But, like, I mean, there can be, like, guides and, you know, people that help us remember certain things and messages, like, that come from different people, but we cannot, like, give our power away, like, to different gurus or experts or advisors, or, like, we cannot give that and say, oh, I totally trust them. I was going off of what we need to take responsibility for our choices and what we're doing with our power and our energy and our attention and our choices, our actions, our behavior. It doesn't matter, like, yeah, how we think we're justified or not. Like, we need to hold ourselves accountable, and we will be held accountable for this. And so it's just like, okay, get over your fucking self, you know, like, whatever you think you want to be, or however good you feel about yourself when you're this, or however bad you feel about yourself when you're that. Like, it's nobody else's fault. It's like all of this, like, you know what? Like, it's a circus. It's a circus sideshow, and sometimes it's a shit show, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, you know, like, stop being that scorekeeper and, like, really stop holding on to shit that you don't need to. Lighten your load. Let go of, like, this false image that you have of yourself that you want people to bow down to or worship, or that you want to prop up for yourself because of certain small payoffs and however it's worked for you in the past, you know. And that can look different to everyone, so what the fuck ever. Anyways, just getting this out. And I know there's going to be more clarity, and there's going to be, like, so much that comes out of, like, all of this, like, processing that I've been, you know, in, like, this year. And I felt so lost, and I felt, yeah, like, so stuck for the last little while. And so just have to make peace and ask for help. That's all I can do right now. And so I'm really humbled by some of the relationships that have been able, like, to just let go of, and then it's like they've come back online, like, in a new way, in a higher way. And so sometimes we do need to separate, we do need to divide, so that we can come back together in a higher frequency, in a new way, in a new relationship, in a new dynamic, in a way that's more true, in a way that's new, honoring. It's more honoring for the whole, for both of us, for ourselves and the other, which, like, it's kind of funny, like, is there really, like, you know, the other, which there is, but, like, in so many ways it has more to do with, like, that other half of ourselves that we haven't been in harmony with, and that we are, like, kind of recalibrating and harmonizing with, or, you know, both sides and all sides, and, you know, the whole. So it's interesting, just being vulnerable and asking for help lately when I've been so overwhelmed, and letting God help me and show up, and letting myself be like where I am. And knowing I'm loved where I am, and knowing I'm enough where I am. And I just get to go through like this part of my life. And I get to be more open-minded, and I get to listen more, and I get to see more, and I get to receive, and then ask where I can best give and show up and contribute, like, to everything that matters to me, to everything that I love, and just to enjoy like where I am right now, like, even though it's not like where I would have ideally chosen to be, but this is what I've been given, so I'm gonna thank it and appreciate it, and live it and enjoy, and see like the gifts and the beauty in it and within myself, like that I have to share with others, and to be here right now, to be a part of this love that's here and that I see all around me and within me. And yeah, that's what I'm going to focus on. That's what's important to me. And there's been so many good things that have helped me remember that, or to help me see that, and so many layers just unfolding and like helping me to see in a new multi-dimensional way, so that I can be and I can live in that way, and I can embody that, and I can practice it, and I can start helping to build new ways and hold like new consciousness on this plane, on this planet. Looking into some old wounds, beliefs, programs, patterns, and identities. Some are dissolving or unraveling and falling away, being removed and cleared away. And I'm moving out of my own way, more allowing and yielding, trusting, accepting through surrendering. Being at peace, in presence right here. Being at one within me. Endings, beginnings, no time, timelessness, new relationship with time. An enemy is one that moves us back in time. And that's like, that holds us back in the past. Or amnesia. A friend is one that moves us forward, or that holds us where we are. Some little tidbits from someone's, opinion, perspective, point of view, a conclusion or description, logic, reasoning, or formulated beliefs. Yeah, that's what that was. It was something I heard somewhere, and it made me question something, and I was like, that's interesting. I could look at it this way. So my aunt shared a video with me about dismantling the delusional mind, and I did appreciate a few of the things I heard in the first 3 minutes about like why or how, the how and the why of the ally and the enemy, and the belief that we can be wrong or anything other than what we already are. Like, yeah. That's what it was about. There's this like belief that we're wrong beings, that we're wrong for being, and so we have to be something other than what we are. Like, so we're pretending that we're something that we're not because we're so wrong already. And it's just like, this programming that has taught us to hate ourselves and told us that we're like this, like chronically, like. And so we've tried to like make up for it so much that we've like just gotten so far away from like who we really are, because we're trying to make up from what we're really not either. And so like it's just like a huge mindfuck, like just, and that's how we move so far away from ourselves and so far away from God and from who we are. And it's like, what? So like this was in the first 3 minutes of like some podcasts that my aunt had shared with me a little bit ago, and I was like, whoa, yeah, I totally get that. That's huge. That's amazing to me. So I was like, whoa, yeah, I like that. That's a good, valid nugget. And so, like, I was like, I'll take that. I'll put that in my pocket for later. But, like, in this podcast, some of it, like, some of the other things he was saying, I just didn't agree. It didn't resonate, or, like, something about it rubbed me the wrong way. So it was just like, okay, that's fine. I mean, maybe it's not for me. Maybe this isn't for me right now. Or this part isn't for me. Or the way that he, like, is presenting it. It doesn't line up with, what I need. But thank you. Like, yeah, I got what I needed from this. Oh, and I'll take that. Thank you. So, yeah, some of it brought up feelings of resistance, agitation, and repellence for some other things that were being said. And maybe it's just that I didn't resonate with this guy's process, or maybe it's something that may actually help me, like, be free or to free myself, just like by detaching from it. That's okay. I don't need to get that part of it. Like, I appreciate this part of it. And thank you. Yeah. It can be both. It can be both things. And so, it's my own discernment. Like, so just be free. I just don't know if I agree or really understand fully what he means when he talks about, like, what his process of logic is, because logic is a loaded term, and it could be used so many different ways, and it hasn't been used at all, like, in traditionally logical ways. So, in logical systems, and so he talks about logic being a tool to dismantle, like he talks about using logic as a way to dismantle the delusional mind. But I think sometimes logic actually locks us into the delusional mind. And so, like, that's been my, like, kind of thing where I've seen that. And this goes along with, like, Toltec teachings on consciousness, where logic always wants to argue with itself and prove itself right. So it's always going to find some hole in it. The mind always has to, like, defend itself from something outside of itself. And, like, just it goes on, and it's a hamster wheel spiral, like, overthinking, overanalyzing. Like, yeah, like, it's fun to, like, look at all the different things, but, like, we get caught up in that, like, where there's never any resolution, because we break things down to, like, the smallest part, and there's all these parts that contradict themselves, and we don't ever look at things as a whole and see how they relate to each other in a system, and where there are imbalances in a certain system. And that's where the divine feminine consciousness, like, seeing things as a whole, and relating to everything as it relates to itself. Yeah, that's what's been lacking and missing, like, in our logic and everything, and all, and just the way that we operate, like, together and everything, like, the whole within the greater whole. Like, that's what, like, has been so, like, the divine feminine wisdom that sees everything as a whole and can see every part of the whole. That is what's been missing. And so, but I do agree, like, there is wisdom in what this man was sharing and everything. But that's what, like, brought it up for me, is like, yeah, this is the whole, like, the whole with, the whole, HOLE, the whole, in the whole, that has created, like, that black hole that's sucking everything, like, into this false self that is a parasitic dynamic and a false self. And so, yeah. Anyways, just kind of going through that kind of stuff, like, just using my own discernment, and, like, okay, like, instead of making myself feel guilty, like, oh, I just don't get this, or fuck that, like, throwing it out, right? But it's like, oh, okay, there are little nuances, there are little things, like, things that I can take, or I can just, like, let them go outright. So I don't have to obsess or analyze, like, everything, but, like, there are certain things, like, that do, like, they serve me, like, to look at, and I look into them, and yeah, sometimes I can overdo it, like, that is my style, and I just get to learn how to balance with that. So, and so, just kind of looking into my journal that I've been keeping. And, yeah, one of the things I realized is that I get to listen to my intuition more as well. when it comes to different things, to make things easier for myself too. I don't have to make it so hard and difficult, and yeah, because I can get into my own way so much, and I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. So it's been a challenging year, a challenging month, a challenging week, and a pretty good day. All in all, love always. And I'm grateful that I'm starting to feel better, with more energy, less pain, less congestion, less fogginess, less fatigue. But I really wanted to smoke today, and I was really craving a cigarette, and so intensely. So I shared this passage, I think in the last time that I shared, where I had quit smoking, and because of some definite like health issues where I, it's just like, no, you just can't be doing this anymore because this isn't working right now. So like I gave that up, and was going through some stuff, but I was really jonesing. I was actually like chomping on some Nicorette gum. And I was doing good though. And that lasted for a little bit. And then me and my husband had some drinks, and I was just like, "Whoa, this is permission for me to smoke," because like alcohol and smoking go together. Like a lot of smokers know, like if they want to smoke more, they just need to have a drink. And I think a lot of drinkers know that they'll be more susceptible to smoking when they're drinking. And so it's just like, yeah, it's funny. So yeah, I started having a few again, and just not like beating myself up about that, but taking accountability for it. Like I know, like it is what it is. Didn't expect like me to push through or like not to ever have one again. And I've looked at this so much too. This is like, I don't know. In some ways, this is like, well, if it never changes, I guess it doesn't. But it's not like I don't have the power to like do something different. So I've been looking at different things as well, and adding different things in that actually do serve me, instead of just feeling defeated. But I know there's the saboteur, and there's the addict, and like there's the whore at play, and all those things, and like, yeah. I just surrender. Like, God, like I know there's certain things that that would work for me, but I'm just where I'm at right now. So I'm looking into some old wounds, beliefs, programs, patterns, and identities. Some are dissolving or unraveling, falling away, being removed and cleared away. And I'm moving out of my own way, more allowing and yielding, trusting, accepting through surrendering, being at peace and presence right here. Endings, beginnings, no time, timelessness, new relationships with time. An enemy, is one that moves us back in time or the past. That keeps us from being here, like as we are. Because if there's like overlay, this false glass ceiling and this false self-image of who we think we are. And it has nothing to do with like this moment at all. Like really, all these layers and all these identities and all these boxes that we've chosen like to like cram ourselves into. Like that's what keeps us from being like the love that we are right now, like because we're trying to be something that we're not because of the identity that we've attached ourselves to. That's a lie, so it's ironic and crazy and silly. Anyways, so I just don't know if I agree or really understand fully, and how to interpret certain things, and like how much energy do I really put into like defending or not, like, or agreeing or just whatever. So I really tried to listen and allow, but my nervous energy got the best of me, and I decided I couldn't pay attention to it after a little bit. And so I was like, it's okay if I choose something else, and something that was more but what I needed at the time, that was empowering and or even neutral. And like, because I just didn't want to argue with myself at that time. And I was just like, okay, like I can see like how like sometimes we need like a slow drip, and some things like when we're changing our minds or when we're unraveling something, how, yeah, we need to take bite-sized pieces. I mean, we need to be patient with ourselves and with each other, you know, and so we can't like really push like certain things. We need to allow that space for it to organically mature, and sprout or unfold within us. And so it's given me some some things to chew on and look at, and for being realistic. And that was even hard to pay attention to, like, you know, something that I really wanted to, like at the time where I was feeling really ADHD and just like not able to focus or concentrate, because I've had those kind of issues lately. And so I was just looking at like, how do I focus like right now and like just finish something, like complete a task, and like between all these distractions and whatnot. It's so like, because there's a lot of changes going on and a lot of stuff. So I am willing to care for myself and cultivate, nurture, and foster wellness and well-being, and those practices that contribute in service to the whole. You know, this year, OMG, what a ride already. Optimistic and hopeful that grace will carry us through and love will show us the way. I'm just wandering, following what comes, and guided by the spirit in white to a new home, a new journey of becoming whole once again. Coming back home to myself, to more of myself, to all of myself. And so the other day, my aunt asked if we could do a video chat. Yeah. And I was kind of like, yeah, sure, let's do that. Because I always love talking with you, because like she's one of my favorite persons. She's like my older sister, like the older sister that I never had. And like, yeah, just a sweetheart. And I just love her. And she's like one of my best friends, I could say, like one of my best life friends. And I've had like special connections with her in past lives and different things where we were in a sisterhood, and yeah, we're in a soul tribe together. So like, yeah, she's very dear to me. So I always love her and our connection, and we've really been allies over the last, especially like, you know, 5 and 10 years. And so like, but there is this weird thing that happened a couple weeks ago where I was just like, I don't know, you know, like I was out of my comfort zone, and I wanted to please. But I was just like in that space where there was just like, nope, I can't do it. I just gotta be like real. I can't even like come in with small talk or charm or like easy witty comment like for the awkward silences. I just gotta let those awkward silences be there, and I just gotta say, oh well, good for you, and I'm sorry, and then like say no to the request that was asked. And that was a little uncomfortable for me in certain ways. And what happened to, like with the things that I felt uncomfortable about, they helped me look into certain things about like, why does this bother me? And what was this about, like, that made me feel uncomfortable? And like, yeah, like what was it in me, like, that didn't, because it was like, it was a blessing, and at the same time it was cringy, and at the same time it was like awesome, and at the same time oh, it worked out great. And it was some of it was smooth and gracious, and some of it was so awkward and clumsy. But like, yeah, it's so funny, just showing me that it's all a mixed bag, and there is this like little dance that we go through, and just like, it doesn't matter like how it's perceived, really. It's like this thing that happened to me tonight and today. My granddaughter is like the most beautiful person and the most beautiful little girl that I've ever seen in my entire life. But like, you know how like on certain angles of the phone or whatever, anyone can look like just funny, or like, you know, the funhouse mirror, like exaggerating your like, you know, your double chins or like your expression or like whatever it is. Like there could be like such funny things that aren't really like flattering, like that we want them to be, you know, like. And so it is just like kind of looking at me like, you know, like help me look to see. But like, yeah, some of these things, some of these angles that we try and look at ourselves, like, you know, that's not the only story. Like there's another story here. Like, and it's just funny, like how distorted, like depending on like how much we reject or how much we want to prop up certain images or angles of how we appear or seem to be or want to look like, or, you know. Anyways, hopefully that's relatable or translatable. It's just so funny, like how we want to be seen, how we want to see ourselves, how we want other people to see us, but we cannot control anyone's perceptions, nor should we try to, because it is impossible to do that. And if we do, like if we attempt to manipulate people, that is psychotic, and that is not, like, that's self-serving, like for our own selves, for our own egos. Has nothing to do like with helping the other person. It has only like our own self-serving interests, or whatever the fuck is possessing us, like to be what we're not, and to convince somebody else, like, yeah, of bullshit. So that's all I have to say about that, and take it or leave it. And so so I felt all this resistance and agitation and repellence, and wow, I can understand now, like, a lot of the things what I have rejected and denied within myself, and what I can reclaim now. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy, like, and I know certain things. I know where I get to show up now, and I take accountability for, like, the places where I haven't been able to. But, like, yeah, I understand on certain levels that this was in divine timing and right where I'm supposed to be. And so, it did feel awkward, and some of it felt like forced and pre-rehearsed and funny, but it was okay, and it was well-intentioned and full of love, and it was full of truth and soul and heart. And it was a great time and opportunity to just surrender, detach, and let go of needing to be something other than I am right now. Like, I didn't have to pretend to be something other than I was. Yeah. Didn't have to keep pretending to know. Yeah. To pretend, like, yeah, that I was, like, something that they wanted me to be, which was something that I wasn't going to be, like, that I wasn't at the time. And so it was just, like, reminding me of, like, certain things about Alice in Wonderland, like, with anybody, with the opposites of, like, the looking glass of, like, we're always pretending to be what we're not. And, like, if everything was what it wasn't, you know, and it was just, like, everything's so turned around. So it's, like, it just makes so much sense, like, to look at it in certain ways. And so, use and practice discernment and choose authenticity, sharing my truth and what I see and perceive, and offer some wisdom, advice, and perspective, stories, experiences, and be true to myself, and know that it's okay. Like, if I am wrong too, like, and if it's not going to be relatable and true for everyone, but I can accept it for myself. Like, this is my voice, and this is, like, my experience, and it doesn't need to make any sense to anyone else for it to be valid and legitimate. Like, to stop looking for that outside of myself, because that just is what blocks myself. Like, oh, I need permission from someone else, or I need validation before, like, this is okay. And it's just like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay for me to be mad about this. It's okay for me to be, like, super excited about this, and to be just like, whatever about this. And it's just like, and I don't have to like look at it and judge it and overanalyze and overthink, like, oh, is this bad? Is this blah, 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 blah? And have the race, like this racist list going on, like, that's some kind of programming wants me to have about certain things. And it's just like, no, this is my own experience. Like, and you can't tell me, like, that I need to be exploited more than I have been. And fuck that. Like, this is such bullshit. Fuck that. Letting go of the need to please others or feel pleased with myself. This is a victory. And so I love it when I see and remember all is conspiring to bring us to our greatest potential. Yeah. The wisdom of anger. Listen to your own inner fire. Is my anger a boundary? Is my anger a reaction? My anger as a flame. Like, where do I feel inflamed and where do I feel like I'm flaming? So is it something I'm aware, or maybe something I'm becoming aware of, or something like I've been totally unaware of? I'm resolving ongoing emotional flares. Like, like, whoa, like there has been so much fire and there's been so many fires to put out. And it's just like, okay, well, let's just watch like some of these burn, and maybe let's just like go into this fire to burn all that away, all those things that are not true. And they have never been true. And they're just like a hindrance now. So like, just let it burn, And got to be careful about that too, like with anger, because it can be a raging inferno that hurts other people, and I don't want to do that. So, and I don't want to keep like burning up my own insides either. So, June 13th, 2023, letting go, new starts, new beginnings, begin again, new ways to be, live again, new stories, new identities, new perspectives, opening, new ways to see, new ways to show up and respond, co-create, participate, engage, withdraw, cooperate, and navigate. It's felt so heavy and dense, blah, walking or treading through troubled waters, difficult emotions and complex fears, desires, dread, and repulsion. So much resistance to what is and has been so uncomfortable, ugly, dumb, untrue, fucking fucking just terrible. But also true. So we did choose to come to Earth to create our own experience and serve God's love and all we love. And so, man, I'm just like so disillusioned with some of the things I've seen lately. And I know I've been going through this disillusionment so intensely. And what's been bothering me the most about a lot of things is that there's been a lot of demoralization programming. And I can see how the psychological warfare is operating, like in so many ways, to wear us down, and so that we're easier to manipulate. And that's like, yeah, like some of the thing that's been bothering me this year, and that I've been like kind of seeing a lot lately, is the demoralization tactics, like that tell us, like that keep reinforcing that we're terrible people. We don't deserve to be here. We have to make up for that. Like, yeah. And so that causes like it's so many complexes. And we can see like the dysfunction and some of the fuckery that's come with that. Like, yeah. You can see what that creates and everything. And so I'm looking into like a lot of things. And some of the contradictory images and messages and implanted beliefs, distorted, dysphoric messages and misperceptions, self-images, disempowering identities, all or nothing, defeatist, sabotage tendencies, lack and security, not enoughness, and disconnection, disillusionment, and too muchness, desensitization, discomfort, disembodiment, dehumanization, deteriorization, demonization, demoralization, dehumanization, devaluation, and degeneration. Interference into, infiltration, manipulation, exploitation, and dysmorphic deceptions, distortions, deceptions, domination, control, one ways, parasitic totalitarianism, inception. They've turned us around and they've turned us against ourselves. They've turned us around and they've turned us against our lives. They've turned us against our nature. They've turned us against God, our creator. They've turned us against our family, our morals and wisdom and traditional values. They've turned us against our hearts and against our bodies. They've turned us against our minds, our souls, and our nature. They've turned us against our gender, against our partners, against our elders, against our neighbor. And they've turned us against our friends, against our best interests, against our well-being, against each other, and against our true selves. This is spiritual manipulation. And this false power and control system is anti-life force and parasitical. It's a false matrix, AI simulation, programmed loops and false identities, false attachments to artificial inverted structures and constraints with no solid or true foundation. And what's next for humanity? A new religion, a new psyop, a new world order? Or what is it? What do we get to do? To rise up against this totalitarian system. Do we have freedom to choose? Or do we want to be happy and safely enslaved? You will own nothing and you will be happy. New aged. So, what is this new God practicing celebrity worship trends and new age Scientology, woke ideologies, and cancel culture isms. So thank you for the fuel, the anger, and the signal to look, feel, listen, choose, and set my boundaries, claim my power, and be whole, full, and true. Courageousness, gratitude, compassion, wholeness, and all of you. Remembrance, love is, remember you. Love is you. Remember, love, remember you. Remember, love is one. Thee, me, we, and you. So that was one thing that I will close with, is that I talked to my sister a couple days ago, and I was going through a really hard time. And we haven't been, really close for the last couple years or had very deep conversations, but she was really holding the space for me. And we had, been trusting each other and being kind, and really, really, I feel like both of us have wanted to heal something, but we weren't forcing it or anything. But I know there's a lot of care and love, and so things have just, been naturally happening, between us to help our relationship repair, and so that means a lot to me. So thank you, God, thank you, sisters, thank you, family, thank you, love, and healing, even though it sucks, to have that wound open and raw and everything, really just being willing, to know that it's there, to acknowledge it, and then know that we have the power, and our body can, and our soul, and love, and God, there's a reason for us going through this process, and it is a gift to go through that healing, because there is so much that we do develop. We go through adversity, and so we can't cancel pain, we can't cancel heartache, we can't all these things. It's a mixed bag. We need both things to balance things and to learn and to grow and to move into our potential. And so trying to avoid certain things, or trying to cancel out things, or trying to control things like this, this is counterproductive. And just if we can embrace things and accept things, but let it move us into what we need to do, and to challenge us to step up and upgrade, and that doesn't mean taking someone else down or punishing someone else. It means raising up our own selves and changing the ways that we are, or letting go of something like that's kept us perpetuating and creating what we've been stuck in. So what my sister, shared with me was she appreciated an NDE and near-death experience. And what this man said was, all you need to do is be brave and kind. That's all. You think you need to do something else or something grand or something. It was like, just be brave and be kind, And sometimes we do need to be brave so we can be kind and to be kind to ourselves. And, yeah, things are crazy sometimes. And so that really helped me. Like, I can be brave and I can be kind and I can be kind to myself. I can be brave through all these things and let go of some of this bullshit that's held me back and kept me from owning my own power and my own beauty, my own love, and whatever I get to be. And so. Just grateful for having, all these experiences and seeing, too, how worse it could be. And, yeah, really, how people try and play certain games to one-up themselves or whatnot. Really, what that's all about and kind of rising above, some of this juvenile bullshit. I don't even know what to call it, social measurement or, status or whatever it is. I'm sure I get to just kind of see through these things in a more clear way of how these manipulations work, and how we keep perpetuating, reinforcing this bullshit privileged slave system for ourselves, when really we all want to get out of this fucking limiting belief system that we've been in, and when we can't keep doing what we're doing with making everyone else wrong and ourselves right and justifying it, because that just sucks us right back into the game and playing that wheel and on that wheel of samsara. And what goes up must come down too, and so we may be on top for a minute, but it doesn't serve us and it doesn't serve anyone else, what we're playing in. So just do we need to break the wheel, or do we just get to ride the center of it? And even if we ride the center of it, there's those things that are within. And so remember what's true, remember what's joyful, remember what's full, remember what's you, remember the truth. I am grateful for my life. I am grateful for all I love. I am grateful for all I am. I am grateful for the love, all the love that God Creator has for me and all His sons and daughters, for all of creation. I am so grateful for our Mother Earth. I am so grateful for the Goddess, for love, for life, and all that is true, for that is beautiful and true and pure. All that is beautiful and pure. And I am sorry. There are so many lost and confused and wounded and hurting souls out there. Please, God, help us to help ourselves and remember all we are. How can I best serve, love, and contribute? How can I best show up? And how can I be the most true to myself? How can I share my love, my riches, and my wealth? I made all of these things today that made me happy. And that's what it's all about. Following our truth, following our love, following our joy. Not trying to do something because it will make someone else happy, but really what are we here to do, and what are we here to give, and all those things. And that doesn't mean that we're not going to have our challenges and we're not going to have our struggles, but we are going to have that ability and the resources and the willingness and the courage to face and to rise up and meet them. Like, just because we are living our best life and we're embodied, like, in the love that we are, doesn't mean that everything's perfect and everything's going to be cleared away for us. Like, yeah, we still have stuff to navigate, but we do have the strength, like, and the lubrication and whatnot, like, when we are in alignment with our truth and our path and our love, and with the will of, of our soul and God's plan, like, once we know what that is, and I don't need to explain that to anybody, that's what I believe that is, or what my soul knows that is. So, yeah, happy summer solstice and changes, and may everything be illuminated for you, and may you receive all the clarity that you need for your heart, your soul, and your well-being, and may you be love for yourself, and love yourself, and show up for yourself, and be love for yourself just as you are, with everything like that you are, and get that you're learning, and that you're growing, and that you're experiencing, that you're feeling, and that you're healing. Yeah, all those things. May you be at peace, may you be well, may you feel loved, held, supported, and blessed within your own self and within your own well, because you are a part of God, and God loves you more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. You're a part of this love, and this love needs you, and this love needs you. It's like, just to be that love for you that you need. And so thank you. We all need you. We all love you. We all thank you. Like, yeah, thank you for being a part of the whole. So, so, so grateful for every single part, every single whole, all that we're a part of, all this love we are. May we remember for all the love we are, for everything that we are here to do, and here to be, and here to free, and heal, and see. So, may you be well loved and feel at peace in the ways that you need for your whole well-being. Love you. Talk to you soon. Okay. Bye for now.